My name is Florence McLean. I'm 27 years old, and I've always believed my greatest strength was staying grounded. I don't lose myself in drama. I don't assume the worst of people, and I've never been the type to spiral into jealousy over things that don't matter. Or at least, that's what I used to think. Before all of this happened, my life felt like it was finally settling into something stable. I worked as a network systems administrator for a mid-sized tech company in Denver. Nothing glamorous, but I was proud of the life I'd built. My own condo, a reliable car, a bank account that didn't make me flinch every time I checked it. After watching too many friends chase the image of success instead of the substance, I'd promised myself early on that I'd build something real. And truthfully, I thought I had everything under control. Until Jason Bennett reappeared in my life. We met at a friend's housewarming party, one of those events where no one really knows the host well enough to be comfortable, so everyone stands around pretending the free charcuterie makes the awkwardness worth it. Jason and I ended up next to the same window, both pretending to admire the view of a parking lot lit by dying street lamps. He made a joke about how Denver nightlife had really gone downhill, and I laughed too loud for someone who barely knew him. He noticed. Conversation was easy, effortless in that unsettling way where you start to wonder why it feels so natural. By the end of the night, he asked for my number. 1 month later, we were officially dating. For the first year, everything felt good, solid, steady, the kind of relationship people brag about on social media. We hiked together on weekends, tried new restaurants, cooked dinner in my kitchen while he made fun of the way I chopped vegetables. We were that annoyingly functional couple people use as proof that healthy relationships exist. I should have known the universe doesn't hand out stability without a catch. Her name was Natalie Rhodes. Jason mentioned her casually, like she was an unimportant footnote in his past. His ex-girlfriend of 3 years. They'd dated all through college, broke up 2 years before I met him. According to him, the breakup was mutual and amicable. They'd grown apart. They still talked as friends. That phrase, as friends, would become the poison that bled into everything. In the beginning, I didn't think much of it. People have history. People have exes. I wasn't the insecure type who demanded her partner pretend the past never existed. Jason assured me there were zero lingering feelings, and I chose to take him at his word. The trouble started small, like a hairline crack in a piece of glass you don't notice until it shatters. The first time Natalie's name came up, it was in a harmless context. Natalie recommended this new sushi place, he said while scrolling his phone. We should try it sometime. Okay, fine, I didn't think twice. But then it became, Natalie sent me this funny video. Natalie thinks I should go for that promotion. Natalie says there's a better way to organize my desktop icons. One evening, while we were looking at vacation options for my time off, I had meticulously researched Yellowstone, trails, cabins, weather patterns, everything. I was excited in the way quiet people like me get excited, softly but deeply. Jason pulled out his phone. What are you doing? I asked. Just asking Natalie what she thinks. She went last year. Something in my chest tightened. You're asking your ex for input on our vacation? He laughed like I was being dramatic. She has good taste. Relax. Relax. The word that tells women to ignore their intuition. I tried to let it go. I tried to tell myself it wasn't a big deal. But when Natalie texted him back, recommending Sedona instead, Jason immediately pivoted. Yellowstone was forgotten within seconds. That was the first time I felt the invisible presence between us. Like a third person was quietly sitting at our table, offering opinions Jason valued more than mine. After that, her influence seeped into everything. When I suggested a new barbecue spot downtown, Jason insisted the one on the east side was better, because Natalie said so. When I rearranged my home office for better light, he showed her a photo. She told him the desk should face the door for energy flow, and suddenly my workspace became a debate between me and his ex-girlfriend, a person who had never set foot in my condo. I'd never met her, but she was everywhere. When I finally said something, gently, calmly, Jason flinched, like I'd accused him of cheating. She's my friend, he said. You sound insecure. Insecure. The word that tells women to mistrust their own boundaries. And once he labeled me with it, every conversation became a trap. If I didn't mention Natalie, he took it as acceptance. If I did, he took it as jealousy. I started noticing the late-night texts, the sudden laughter at 11 p.m. over something she'd sent, the way he'd turn the screen away or tilt his phone down when I walked past. Jason, it's late, I said one night while we were watching a movie. He rolled his eyes. She works weird hours. She vents to me sometimes. It's not a big deal. But it was a big deal because he always picked up, always answered, always prioritized her emergencies over our plans. One Friday, we were supposed to have a dinner-at-home date night. I'd made pasta. I'd opened wine. I'd even set actual placemats, something I only did when I was trying. His phone rang. "Natalie," he said, already standing. He stayed gone for 90 minutes. I ate dinner alone. He came out of the bedroom looking annoyed at me. "It was important," he snapped. She needed relationship advice. Relationship advice. From her ex. At the exact time, he was supposed to be having dinner with his girlfriend. When I calmly pointed that out, he accused me of being controlling. "You're seriously mad about pasta?" he scoffed. But I wasn't mad about pasta. I was mad that I had become an afterthought. And yet, I stayed. Because when you love someone, you try. Even when it feels like you're trying alone. I didn't know then that the crack in the glass had already spread too far to fix. The explosion came 3 months later. One Friday, Jason told me he was going to a college friends reunion. I had poker nights scheduled anyway, so it didn't bother me. When I came home around midnight, I texted him goodnight. He never responded. At 2 in the morning, he finally texted, "Crashing at my friend Kyle's place. Too tired to drive." Reasonable, responsible, believable. The next morning, I woke up to a flood of Instagram notifications. When I opened Jason's story, my world stilled. Natalie, Jason, dinner, wine, her leaning into him, his arm around her, a kiss on the cheek, a timestamp, 2:03 a.m., and the caption that sliced straight through me, "Miss this one." Not missed. Miss. Present tense. Now. The friend reunion was a lie. The too tired to drive was a lie. Jason spent the night with his ex and posted it publicly like a trophy. Something in me went cold, quiet, and sharp. For the first time in months, I didn't doubt myself. I didn't feel insecure. I didn't question my boundaries. I simply knew. This wasn't jealousy. This was betrayal, and someone else needed to know what he was doing. Because one detail stood out, one he'd never bothered to mention. Natalie had a boyfriend. A serious one. A man named Blake. And the woman he was quietly betraying? Her name was Rachel. I took screenshots, saved everything, opened a blank message window, and started typing. I stared at my screen for a long time before I sent that message to Rachel. Not because I doubted what I was doing. No, that part felt unquestionably right. But because I wanted the truth to land gently, not like a weapon. I wanted her to understand this wasn't revenge. It wasn't bitterness. It wasn't jealousy. It was simply information she deserved. When I finally hit send, it felt like releasing a held breath I didn't even know I'd been carrying. 20 minutes later, there was no turning back. By sunrise, chaos had already begun. But at that moment, standing in my kitchen in my oversized pajama shirt, coffee cooling beside me, I felt strangely calm, almost weightless, like the truth had scooped something hollow and heavy out of me. I didn't have to expose Jason. I didn't have to fight. I didn't have to argue about boundaries or gaslighting or respect. I simply let the truth do what it always does, rise. By the time Jason came home, the storm had already reached him. He walked through my door at 10 a.m., still wearing the same clothes from the night before. His hair was messy, eyes tired, jaw clenched, like he'd been grinding his teeth all night. He smelled like someone else's perfume. "Morning," I said, sitting calmly on the couch with my coffee. His posture stiffened. "Hey, Florence." His voice was tight. "Last night ran late. I figured that it was safe to post it online," I finished for him, "since you thought I wouldn't see it." His eyes widened just a fraction, just enough for me to know he didn't think this through. "What photos?" he tried. I lifted my phone with one finger. "The ones of you and Natalie at dinner, at the bar, her kissing your cheek, you two leaving at 2 a.m. His expression hardened into indignation faster than any genuine emotion ever could. "Oh my God," he groaned. "This again? Florence, they were just pictures. Stop reading into everything. You're blowing this way out of proportion. You lied about who you were with." I said I was with college friends. "You said you were crashing at Kyle's." "That's because I didn't want you freaking out," he snapped. "And yet here we are," I said quietly. His jaw flexed. "Are you jealous, he demanded. There it was, the word he loved using as a shield. "No," I said, "I'm not jealous, I'm disrespected." If that bothered him, he didn't show it. Instead, he crossed his arms. "You're acting crazy, Florence. It was innocent, a friendly night out." "Innocent?" I tilted my head. "You posted a kiss." "On the cheek," he said sharply. "It meant nothing." He said that like it was supposed to reassure me. It meant something to Rachel, I murmured. His entire face froze. Rachel, he repeated. Why would she? I let the silence answer him. When realization struck, he looked at me like I was the one who had betrayed him. What did you do? He whispered. I sent her the photos, I said simply. The ones you posted publicly. Jason's voice cracked into anger again. Are you insane? Why would you involve her? You're ruining lives. No, I corrected. You did that. His breathing grew shallow and quick. You had no right. Rachel had the right, I said. I just delivered the truth. For the first time since I'd known him, he genuinely didn't know what to say. He left shortly after, storming out, slamming the door, the usual theatrics of a man who wanted to appear wounded instead of guilty. But I didn't chase him. I didn't cry. I didn't even feel shaken. I felt done. That afternoon, the real show began. My phone buzzed nonstop. Instagram notifications piling one after another. I opened the app. The first thing I saw was Rachel's Instagram story, and she hadn't held back. The dinner photo, the bar photo, the cheek kiss, the 2 a.m. time-stamped departure, each one accompanied by captions that cut like razors. Work trip? Interesting. Mutual trust only works if both people tell the truth. Friends don't kiss. Friends don't lie. 2 years with a man who never left college. She even posted side-by-side comparisons, Jason and Natalie in the past versus Jason and Natalie last night. Same poses, same expressions, same patterns. The comments were already brutal. Girl, you deserve better. Let the trash take itself out. He really recycled the same relationship dynamic? Blake is disgusting for this. People tagged Jason, tagged Natalie, tagged their friends, tagged mutual acquaintances. I'd never seen the internet move so fast. Then Rachel dropped the final blow, a permanent post on her feed. Her in her nurse scrubs, smiling softly. The caption, PSA for the girls who think sneaking around with taken men makes them special. He'll cheat with you, so he'll cheat on you. Jason Bennett is single now. Natalie Rhodes can have him. Thousands of likes in minutes. Comments flooding in like a tidal wave. My heart broke for Rachel, because she hadn't deserved any of this. But I also admired her. She handled the truth with more dignity and fire than most people would. Jason, however, was on the verge of implosion. My phone vibrated with a stream of messages from him. Talk to me. I can explain everything. You didn't have to go nuclear. Rachel is freaking out. Natalie is losing it. Do you even care what you've done? What I had done? I laughed. Actually laughed. Because for the first time, it was clear to me. I wasn't the problem. His behavior was. His lies were. His ego was. Not my boundaries, not my expectations, not my reactions. His choices. Everything that was happening now were the consequences he'd been dodging for months. I left my phone on Do Not Disturb. Jason could drown in the ocean he'd created. I made dinner, watered my plants, cleaned the kitchen, watched a documentary. And for the first time in months, I felt peace. Not pleasure, not triumph, just peace. Because truth, once set free, doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't care who it inconveniences. It simply shines. By Sunday night, the fallout spiraled even further. Natalie posted a defensive story. People are twisting things. Jason and I are just friends. Rachel responded immediately. Friends don't kiss at 2 a.m. Try again. Natalie deleted her post within minutes. Jason's friends started unfollowing him. Natalie's friend group turned on her. Screenshots spread across 4 circles of mutual friends. And I just sat there, watching quietly, feeling strangely detached. Their chaos no longer belonged to me. When Jason showed up at my door the next morning, pounding like a man losing everything, I didn't flinch. I opened the door just enough to look him in the eye. His face was pale, desperate. Florence, are you happy now? No, I said, but I'm finally clear. Clear about what? He demanded. That I'm done accepting minimal effort disguised as loyalty, I said. His eyes widened. I shut the door gently. Behind it, his voice cracked, his anger collapsing into pleading, but I didn't open it again. Some doors, once closed, stay closed. It started before sunrise on Monday. I'd barely slept, not because I was upset, just alert, quietly bracing myself. Betrayal has a way of sharpening the senses. Your mind scans for incoming tremors long after the quake hits. At 6:14 a.m., my phone buzzed with a notification so absurd I actually laughed out loud. Natalie added you to a group chat. The title? Clearing the Air. Members: Florence McLean, me, Jason Bennett, Natalie Rhodes, Rachel Lynn. Natalie had the audacity of someone who'd never once reflected on her own behavior. Her first message arrived instantly, an entire paragraph of delusion. Natalie. Since everyone wants to act like children, let's talk like adults. Florence overreacted and sent edited screenshots to Rachel to cause drama. Jason and I have always been just friends. This is toxic jealousy, and Florence needs to own that. My jaw dropped. She didn't just twist the story. She origami folded it into a shape reality had never even seen. Before I could respond, Rachel, God bless her spine of steel, fired back. Rachel. Edited screenshots? Girl, these are your photos. Public. Time-stamped. And let's not forget the ones Jason posted when you two dated back in college. Same poses, same captions, same recycled situations. She attached a side-by-side collage. Jason and Natalie, 2019 versus 2024. Same wine glasses, same lighting, same cheek kiss. It was devastating. Jason tried to jump in. Jason, this is out of context. Rachel cut him off with surgical precision. Rachel, what context makes kissing your ex at 2 a.m. appropriate? Silence. Then Natalie lunged for a different angle, the one she always used. Natalie, Florence is manipulating all of you. She's trying to isolate Jason because she's jealous. I finally typed a single calm line. Me. I sent screenshots of your public posts. You manipulated yourself. A pause. Then the messages exploded. Screenshots, dozens, all from Rachel. Messages between Jason and Natalie. Jason calling Natalie baby. Natalie saying, wish we'd tried harder before giving up. Jason complaining that Rachel was too clingy. Natalie telling him she missed the way things used to be. My stomach tightened, not from heartbreak, but from clarity. They weren't dancing around boundaries. They'd annihilated them months ago. Jason tried again, grasping at straws. Jason, those messages are old. Rachel, last week is old? She attached timestamps. Jason went silent. Natalie tried to pivot. Natalie, Rachel, you're just jealous. Jason always trusted me with things he couldn't tell you. Rachel dropped the atomic bomb. Rachel, did he trust you with Jenna or Kayla or the others? Natalie froze. So did Jason. I blinked, confused. Others? Rachel continued. Rachel. Blake has a pattern. Look at his tagged photos from 2020-2021. Same dinners, same cheek kisses, same captions, same emotional friendships. He rotates exes the way most people rotate tires. The group chat went still. I checked Blake's profile myself. Rachel wasn't exaggerating. He'd repeated the exact dynamic, down to the same restaurant booth, with every ex he'd stayed close friends with. Natalie wasn't special. She wasn't the exception. She was just the next one in line. She left the chat without a word. Jason left 2 seconds later. It was poetic. They weren't done, though. People like them never disappear quietly. They self-destruct loudly. By midday, my Instagram notifications exploded again. Natalie posted a Notes app screenshot. Classic damage control. White background. Gray text. Dramatic phrasing. Women get punished for maintaining friendships with men. If you're jealous, that's your problem. Comments flooded instantly. Girl, you kissed someone else's boyfriend. Florence didn't make you cheat. Accountability is free. Maybe stop recycling your own lies before preaching feminist theory. Natalie deleted the post within minutes. Screenshots, however, live forever. Stories popped up across Denver. The audacity. Plot twist. She's not the victim. Imagine blaming another woman for your own behavior. Jason tried to defend himself next. He posted a black screen with the caption, "People love drama. Don't believe everything you hear." Rachel responded with a single glittery pink story. Believe the screenshots. She attached 12, in sequence. Jason's post was flooded with laughing emojis. The internet chose its side, and it wasn't theirs. By evening, Jason was at my door again. This time he didn't knock. He pounded. I opened the door an inch. He looked wrecked, eyes red, voice hoarse, desperation clinging to him like sweat. "Florence, please, just listen." "I'm listening," I said. He looked startled that I wasn't yelling. I messed up, okay? But it wasn't cheating. It wasn't like that. Natalie and I just lost control. I never meant for it to go this far. I said nothing. He continued digging the hole. "You shouldn't have sent anything to Rachel. That was cruel." "Cruel?" I repeated softly. "You lied. You snuck around. You kissed your ex behind your girlfriend's back. I told the truth." "That truth ruined everything." "No," I said. "Your actions ruined everything. The truth just made it visible." He swallowed hard. "Can't we just fix this? I'll block Natalie. I'll apologize to Rachel. "No," I said gently. "You're not sorry you hurt me. You're sorry you got caught." He froze. Florence, I love you. He said it too easily, too conveniently, too late. Love, I whispered, would have chosen me months ago. His face crumpled. I closed the door. This time I locked it. But the final twist came 2 days later. Natalie and Jason, perhaps to save face, posted matching photos. A staged picture of them holding hands at some park. Her caption, "Real ones find their way back." His caption, "Growth." The comments? Disabled. Because everyone knew it was performative. Because everyone knew they didn't trust each other. Because everyone saw the ugliness behind their curated smiles. They lasted 4 days. On the 5th, Natalie posted a black screen with, "Know your worth." Jason posted, "Focusing on myself." Translation. They finally saw each other clearly and hated what they saw. Meanwhile, Rachel posted a photo with a handsome doctor from her hospital. Hawaii trip. Sunny background. Genuine smiles. Her caption, "Thank you to everyone who helped me dodge a bullet." She looked free. And I knew exactly how that felt. Jason tried one last time, one last manipulation. He showed up with a shoebox of my belongings. "I want to fix things," he said. "No," I told him softly. He looked confused. "You're not even angry." I was, I admitted. But now, I'm just relieved. "Relieved?" he echoed. "Yes, because the truth set me free too." He had no answer. He left the box, walked away slowly, didn't look back. I closed the door behind him. And for the first time in months, the air felt breathable again. If betrayal is an earthquake, then the weeks afterward are the aftershocks. The small tremors that rattle through your life long after you've evacuated the ruins. That's what the rest of that month felt like. Not chaos, not heartbreak, just settling ground. Reality rearranging itself around the truth. Jason and Natalie's implosion had become a kind of local legend, screenshotted, whispered about, retold in group chats like a cautionary tale. But while everyone else obsessed over the drama, I found myself drifting further and further away from caring. The story no longer belonged to me. I had stepped out of it. They were just characters combusting in a theater I no longer sat in. The friend group. Fallout. The people who had once called me insecure or jealous suddenly adopted a different tone. Hannah, the friend Natalie claimed she'd stayed with that infamous night, posted a story of her own. "I'm done being people's alibi for behavior I want no part of." The subtext was loud enough to shatter glass. Natalie's inner circle, those friends who cheered her on when she posted the cheek kiss with Jason, started quietly distancing themselves. No more tags, no more selfies, no more brunch photos. Toxicity doesn't age well, it curdles. When the truth finally scorched them, they scattered like insects fleeing the light. Jason didn't fare any better. He tried to rally sympathy at first, painting himself as the poor guy caught between two jealous women, until people began seeing the screenshots, the timestamps, the patterns. Then he did what cowards always do. He disappeared. Deactivated Instagram, stopped posting, unfollowed half his contacts, updated LinkedIn as if a new job title could erase old sins. One coworker told me he'd requested to switch project teams because things had become uncomfortable. Translation: his ego couldn't survive facing people who'd seen him exposed. The attempted redemption arc. A few days after our last conversation, Jason texted me a short, strange message from a new number. "I'm working on myself." I didn't reply. He wasn't working on himself. He was working on the version of himself he wanted people to see. And I wasn't an audience member anymore. Natalie tried her own version. She posted a carousel of carefully curated photos, candles, journal pages, yoga poses, with the caption, "Healing is not linear, but healing requires confronting yourself." She was only rearranging her reflection to avoid the parts she didn't like. The comments were brutal. "Girl, the only thing non-linear is your loyalty. You can't heal from wounds you caused. The audacity is blinding." She turned off comments by hour 2. She deleted the post by sunset. And then there was Rachel. Rachel, meanwhile, flourished. Her hospital friends rallied around her. Her patients adored her. Her new boyfriend, Dr. Whoever he was, seemed genuinely smitten. She posted a photo of them on a beach in Maui. Wind in her hair, arms thrown around his neck, sun glowing on her face. The caption read, "Sometimes the universe replaces what you thought you wanted with what you actually deserve." When I saw it, I smiled. Not out of pettiness or victory, just genuine happiness. If anyone deserved peace, it was her. She DM'd me later that night. "Rachel, thank you again. Not everyone would have told the truth. Me. You deserve to know. Rachel, so did you." I sat with that for a long moment. Because she was right. I'd deserved to know who Jason really was long before the photos, long before the lies, long before I convinced myself loyalty meant silence. The last visit, 2 weeks after the group chat explosion, Jason came by for the final time. No storming, no anger, just a knock, soft, hesitant, unsure. When I opened the door, he stood there holding a small cardboard box filled with the things I'd forgotten. My scarf, a book, a spare charger, an old hoodie I'd left in his car. He looked different now, not broken, just small, like a man who finally understood the weight of the truth he'd been avoiding. "Hey," he said quietly. "Hey." He held the box out to me. "These are yours." I took it. He didn't leave. Instead, he asked the question manipulators love to weaponize. "Do you forgive me?" I set the box down inside my doorway, and for a moment, I actually looked at him. Not the version I loved, or the version he wanted to be, but the version that existed right here, right now. A man who never learned how to love someone without needing a backup plan, a man who mistook constant access for emotional connection, a man who thought loyalty was optional as long as he didn't get caught. And finally, I understood. My peace was never going to grow in the same soil as his chaos. "I forgive you," I said softly. He blinked, startled. "You do?" "Yes, but forgiveness isn't the same as reconciliation. It's closure. For me." He swallowed hard. "So, we're really done?" "We were done," I said gently, "the moment you chose her validation over my respect." His shoulders sagged. "I really did love you," he whispered. "No," I corrected calmly. "You loved the comfort I gave you while you chased someone else's attention." He had no comeback, no justification, no gaslighting, no excuses left. Because the truth had outgrown him. He nodded once, defeated, quiet, and walked away down the hall. This time I didn't watch him go. I simply closed the door and locked it. Not out of fear, out of finality. Epilogue. Freedom. The strange thing about leaving a toxic situation is that you don't immediately feel light. You feel recognition first. Self-recognition. The moment you realize you were right to demand respect. Right to set boundaries. Right to walk away without apologizing for your standards. A few nights later, I sat on my balcony, wrapped in a blanket, Denver lights sparkling beneath the quiet winter sky. The air felt crisp, clean, and for the first time in months, I felt like myself again. Because here's the truth no one teaches you soon enough. Love isn't proven by how much disrespect you endure. It's proven by how much self-respect you refuse to sacrifice. Jason taught me what I would no longer accept. Natalie taught me what manipulation looks like dressed as confidence. Rachel taught me the strength of choosing truth. And I, finally, taught myself the value of walking away. I turned off my phone, leaned back, closed my eyes, and smiled into the cold